Back at the Winston Select Finals over the top fuel pits, there's Corey McClanathan. If you can't win, don't play, says the shirt. And there's a rather pensive crew chief, Lee Beard. What is he thinking about? Maybe hoping he'll be on the NHRA Now hotline. I got a quick word about that, presented by Castrol GTX. It's a 24-hour drag racing information line with the latest info on your favorite drivers and events. You just call 1-900-468-NHRA. Easy to remember. Under 18, ask your parents. Charges will appear on your phone bill.
The burnout's underway in Pro Stock semi-final round action, and in the far lane, that is the Dynagear Oldsmobile Cutlass of Steve Schmidt. He and his partner Dale Ike have built themselves an empire building, selling, and leasing engines to other Pro Stock racers. Here in the latter part of the season, it has been that practically half the field has been made up of Schmidt and Ike engines. One that I can guarantee you is not a Schmidt and Ike motor is the 500 cubic inch B1 bomber that is under the hood of Darrell Alderman's Winston Champion Avenger.
I tell you, I think that Mr. Schmidt could be in trouble here because Darrell Alderman has no more title pressure on him. He can relax, he can drive like the professional that he is. Schmidt, let's remember, in the earlier round, won on a huge hole shot. Alderman knows that. Even the muscles are more relaxed in his face from the last time we looked at this cockpit camera.
The rules call for an engine to displace no more than 500 cubic inches. They can use two giant 4-barrel carburetors, the Holly Dominators, the carburetor of choice. They run on racing gasoline. They are highly sophisticated race cars with definitely modern-day suspension techniques, both front and rear, and the bodies must maintain a configuration resembling the stock car.
Schmidt took a long time to stage, but that didn't rattle Alderman. He's away first. He's got the advantage, and he is going to go to the final round with a 7:08 to a 7:14. Both drivers 194 miles an hour. Oh, Darrell, you are smooth.
The next burnout's underway. The teammate of Alderman, Scott Jeffrey, is now up against the #1 qualifier. That's Warren Johnson and his GM Performance Parts Oldsmobile. But down at the far end of the racetrack, let's join Steve.
Well, Darrell, unlike some Winston champs, you have a chance of really finishing the year off with a flourish.
Yeah, but it looks like I really got my work cut out for me. Scott and Warren both are running real strong, so we'll just have to see what happens.
So are you with a 7:08?
Come on, Darrell, get excited. This is a drag race. You talk about the pressure being taken off. It shows right there in the interview with Darrell Alderman.
Thought it was Forrest Gump for a minute when the interview was over.
You're inside the other Dodge. This is the Team Mopar car driven by Scott Jeffrey that battled Alderman almost to a standstill. It was just one round to go that the Winston Championship was decided. His opponent is Warren Johnson, and if Johnson is aiming for a tune-up for 95, he has definitely found the secret to great success.
They're sitting there. They're pre-staged. Could this be another Houston meltdown? Jeffrey moves in. Warren better get in. Finally he does. Good race. Both drivers very alert up the starting line. And both drivers run 7:08, but you can tell by the celebrating crew, the Dodge of Jeffrey will meet his teammate in the final at 195 miles an hour. They both ran 195.
Another one of those races decided literally by thousandths of a second. This one, 2,000. And that was the advantage that Scott Jeffrey got at the starting line because the elapsed times were identical at 7:08. The speed's identical at 195 miles an hour. Inches separated the two at the finish line as Jeffrey got there just ahead of Johnson.
You got lane choice. You both ran 7:08. You're a little quicker on the thousands.
I got lane choice? Man, I don't know. These guys in Wayne County, they're spoiling me and Darrell this year to finish 1 and 2 in the points and to do it here in Pomona in front of my family and a lot of hometown Mopar fans around here, as well as a lot of beach bums from Huntington Beach that come up here to watch this race. So
try to leave on him, will you?
Well, it's obvious that I got to do that. You know how on top of his game he is.
And, of course, we saw a bit earlier, the pressure being off of Alderman may affect his reaction time a bit in the final. We'll have to wait just a bit to find the answer to that question.
Well, there's one young lady that still doesn't have the answer to her question. Will she leave here with a national record of $50,000? She may have gone out round one, but Cal State Fullerton graduate Shelly Anderson still being mobbed by her fans. Great gal.
The intense concentration showing on the face of Dale Armstrong, the crew chief for the Budweiser King, Kenny Bernstein, as we are ready for the semifinal round of Top Fuel Eliminator at the Winston Select Finals here at the Fairplex in Pomona. One thing Armstrong's got to worry about. Has he been able to solve the problem of losing traction off the starting line? Bernstein won a squeaker in one round to go.
That's right, he smoked the tires, giving lane choice to Connie Coletta. Bernstein has one thing in his corner, and that's top speed of the event, 307 miles an hour. That tells him they're making a lot of horsepower. For Connie Coletta, this will be his last race with crew chief Tim Richards. He's going to the Etchel's Funny car. Dale Armstrong ain't going anywhere in that Bernstein camp. He's at Bernstein's will.
Look at the glare on the racetrack. That view from the onboard camera right beside Kenny Bernstein's head gives you an idea of what it is like to sit in the cockpit of one of these cars and look out at a racetrack as the sun is setting in the west. It really magnifies the glare coming up off the asphalt racing surface.
And there is Kim Hay backing up Connie Coletta. She too will go to that Etchel's Funny car. Dave Settles will take over the reins of this Top Fuel car next year.
Settles, of course, has been the crew chief all season long for Tommy Johnson Jr. There again, just a sample of the glare facing Kenny Bernstein. For Armstrong, this is going to be a big question mark, as they were way too aggressive just one round to go with the loss of traction. They cannot afford to do it 2 rounds in a row. And there, in fact, is the camera bolted to the roll cage on the Budweiser King that took that shot a moment ago, showing you all the glare on the track.
Well, the Budweiser King is in the same lane that gave him problems. There's Tim Richards, lame duck crew chief for Connie Coletta. Would like to win one more. It took him to the U.S. Nationals title. What a thrill that was for all of the chronologically challenged. Ooh, look at this. Bernstein right with him. Bernstein. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you just took a ride at 311 miles an hour, the biggest top speed in the history of the sport.
And a great 477 elapsed time at 311.85 miles an hour. Easily outdistanced Connie Coletta and the crowd, showing their appreciation for some tremendous performance by the king of speed, Kenny Bernstein. What a run as the crew heads down track. They are thrilled, and look at Armstrong. You remember how intense he was before the run? Look at the smile on his face now, and we get to live it again through instant replay. Coletta fell behind at the very start and never came close to catching up as Bernstein put together the fastest run in drag racing history at 311 miles an hour, plus the old mark of 308 by Scott Coletta. Steve?
In March of 1992, I got to tell Kenny Bernstein he ran 300. Today, I get to tell him he ran 311 miles an hour.
Holy cow, Moses. I don't believe that one. That's about like a 300 in Gainesville. I don't know where it came from. Like we was telling the guys, after 5 days, we ought to figure out that right lane sooner or later, huh? But
we'll do a great elapsed time of 477. That's the important part.
That's the most important part. Now, in the finals, besides that, I want to thank everybody, my crew, Dale Armstrong, Brooks, all the guys at Budweiser King for working so hard. Like I said, that lane's giving us fits.
He needed that.
I would think they have solved the lane problem. A 477 elapsed time indicates he can get there plenty quick as well. Here is Corey Mack in the McDonald's dragster. His opponent, the surprising Mike Dunn, driving Darrell Gwynn's La Victoria Salsa McGuire's Wax's entry.
That's right, and in the previous round, Mike Dunn had one of the best performances of his career at a 479 to take out Shelly Anderson in a huge speed. Well, we thought it was huge then.
At 304, we thought that was really something until Bernstein blows out a 311.
They are still hooping it up down here at the far end. Dale Armstrong trying to remind the crew, hey, we got one more round to go. Let's not get too carried away and not a lot of time to prepare for it. Now, you may think Corey Mack has lane choice because he's on the far side. Au contraire. Mike Dunn has the lane choice, and watching Bernstein, he took the near lane, and who could blame him? Lee Beard has got his work cut out for him on the Corey Mack group. He's going to beat this car today. They are on their game. Frank Bradley has won national at this racetrack as a driver, and he knows every pore in the concrete. That's Bradley. That will top the notch.
Mike Dunn, one of the most talented drivers ever in this sport. He is a second generation. That's Lee Beard. He's directing his driver, Corey Mack, up into the staging meet. Here are two of the younger drivers in the sport, both right around the age of 30, both becoming stars of the future, if not a star of considerable magnitude today.
About 11,000 horsepower collectively. Neither driver in a big hurry. Like I said, it's a cool day. Ooh, Corey Mack was wired to the tree. Look at that McDonald's car. Look at Dunn. Come on.
But it was not enough. The reaction time advantage gained at the starting line by Corey McLenithan stood him in good stead at the finish. The margin of victory was 11 thousandths of a second, and as we watch again, you see Corey Mack get a head start of about 200ths of a second. It's all legal. It's all in how quick you react to that flash of yellow as the tree turns green. He got out in front of Dunn, and even though Mike Dunn ran 484 at 300, he couldn't catch the flying Corey Mack, who's headed to the finals.
There's an attaboy for the driver. A 486 beat a 484.
Oh, God. Thank you, Lord. I'm telling you, we're at home in Pomona. It doesn't get any better than this. When Bernie took out Connie, that ensured McDonald's car with a third-place finish. And I'll tell you, I don't know what to say. It's just fantastic. I just want to win this one for all the McDonald's people, and my little girl, Courtney, is not here today.
You got to get this red rocket back into the 470s, though.
Well, it's going to cool down, and you know how Lee is in the cool air, and we can haul butt.
But so can Kenny Bernstein. We've already seen that. He'll head into the final round with the lane choice with his great 477 at 311. His challenger, Corey McLenithan in the McDonald's dragster. Look at this, another standing ovation. These Southern California fans appreciate great performances, and that's just what they have seen this weekend from Kenny Bernstein, the King of Speed.